Hey JD from Fluxfocus. I'm going to try to keep this short. This is a bit of a nonsense experiment board that I was doing to play around with an AM alignment oscillator for AM broadcast receivers. So the variable capacitor on some AM broadcast receiver experiments that I was doing and still want to do. I was thinking about tuning, you know, where does the low, high and mid frequencies, where do they sit on the polyvari cap, the variable capacitor. So when you're tuning your AM broadcast receiver and you're sort of fine-tuning that and trying to set those frequencies at a certain place on the dial, I thought, well, this would help. So I wanted to set up 3 frequencies, one for sort of low, one right in the middle and one for high. And so in this circuit I've got a, in here is, these are all 2N2222s, and it's in a clap Colpitts configuration. 3 inductors with associated capacitors feeding into the base of this first transistor. And I didn't have any of these to begin with, any of these multi-turn variable resistors or these variable capacitor strips. So these two here are the voltage divider capacitors of the clap Colpitts oscillator circuit. I did have some homemade inductors in here, but I took them out to put in some nice Coilcraft inductors, about 22 microhenries or something, the inductance of that. Coming out of here, it goes into this transistor here, which that I put in. It's just an emitter follower. It's a bit dicey, this part of the circuit. I might have to rethink that and take that out and put something else in, or take it out altogether and just reconfigure this last amplifier stage, because it well, the first experiments I was doing, it appeared to me that it's pretty high impedance, really, output from that first transistor. So I was trying to lower the impedance for the input into this final amplifier. So it's positive biased voltage divider there. And I'm trying to, at the top here, the collector side of that, this should appear to that transistor as a around a 270 ohm impedance. So this is supposed to be an impedance matching transformer, and on the other side of that is supposed to be 50 ohms. So trying to match to 50 ohms, and there's an output, a single stage Butterworth low pass filter here. I think I set the 3 dB to about the 3 dB knee to about, I don't know, 2.2 megahertz. So yeah, not really sure. I might have to change that up a bit once I've got the whole thing going. I might even have to put might have to even put a second stage in there, or I don't know, I'll think about that later. And yeah, BNC output, and that 50 ohm impedance transformation seems to work alright. I did try that on a 50 ohm impedance load, and the signal held up okay. Yeah, so my first experiment, so I've kind of changed this up, and I'm now getting a board made to sort of redo it all again, because it started to get a bit messy here. But my first experiments with this seem to work alright. Hopefully once I get this board coming in and transplant some of this over to it, it'll work a lot better. And hopefully I'll be able to also modulate it a little bit. So for the alignment oscillator, even though I've got some good carrier coming out, sometimes it's a little difficult to tell on the dial whether you've picked up your carrier or some other nonsense, atmospheric nonsense, or some other signal. So in my next sort of experiments, I'd like to try to put some modulation in that, and to begin with I'm trying that with a modulation transformer, but I'm not quite sure how that's going to turn out. So yeah, look out for when I get around to it. Maybe I'll do a couple of more videos with that board. Cheers.